thanks for setting up the meeting and for sending through that email summary. Now, I understand you want to discuss the high turnover in the call center, and I think the option of specifically increasing the salaries to address that. And I guess we could also look at other things we could do.
Yes, absolutely. That would be great. And I do need to move quite quickly on this.
Okay, well, in advance, I've done a bit of investigation to look at what the current industry rates are, specifically for call centers and the different kind of roles that we have in our call centers. And having done that bit of benchmarking, I do recognize that we are paying a little under what the rest of the market is.
Okay. I suspected that was the case, so that's really good news because that's going to give me a better chance of getting an increase approved.
Okay. So in that case, I think there's an opportunity now for us to put a business case together so we can get sign off for those increases. It may not be for all the roles, but we can, certainly set some time aside to look into the detail of each of the roles in turn.
Okay, that would be great. And can we do that later this week?
Yeah, that should be fine. In the meantime, what the other thing you mentioned was around having to get those people in fairly quickly and to fill those vacant positions.
Yeah.
So I wonder if we should use an agency and get some agency staff in for that.
Okay, I haven't used agency staff before, but having said that, we do have quite a few entry-level roles where the work is quite routine and it wouldn't take that long to get people up to speed. Do you have any agencies that you know and that you trust?
Yeah, I do actually. There's an agency who I have used and they're really good, and they definitely provide call center staff.
Okay.
But I was thinking how the other option is fixed term contract staff, because they're often easier to get in quite quickly as well.
I'm less keen on fixed term contracts. I think for the agency staff for the routine roles, all of the rest of the roles, it takes quite some time, a couple of months to get people fully trained.
Yeah.
And my concern would be that we bring in fixed term contract, train them, and then they'd leave. So if we can, I'd rather keep it to agency and permanent.
Sure, yeah, I hear you. Well, in that case, let's talk through which the priority positions are, and then I can go and talk to the agency after we've determined. Okay, great. That's really helpful. Thanks. So now we've got a list of all of those priority positions. I'll go back to the agency, and when I've got an update from them, I'll come back to you. Okay.
Thank you.
And we're also meeting tomorrow, I think, to go through the business case about getting those salary increases too.
Yeah, we are. Thank you. That's really helpful. It feels like I'm making some progress, so that's great.
Oh, good. Oh, hey, another thing I wanted to talk to you about was, it was about flexible working, because in another company I worked for, we introduced an approach to flexible working, and it was a similar environment, and I thought it could also potentially really help with turnover here.
Oh, that's a really good idea. I hadn't thought about that. I like that. I like that. I think the guys in the call centre would really go for that. So
Yeah.
the idea of having some flexibility around starting earlier or later, or finishing earlier or later, yeah, I think that would really help. So how would we go about setting that up?
Yeah, well, there's a few things to work out, but essentially there's a number of stages. And the first thing we'd need to do is to have a look at contracts and working hours details, but also implications on health and safety. And then we'd move on to